Hi guys, you might have heard it, seen it, tried it even, and it's skin cycling. And the whole interweb seems to be going crazy over it. So today we're going to challenge each other to create a whole routine around skin cycling with tips on how to customize it to your skin type, because that's what matters, and give you our thoughts on everything and if we're going to be adopting skin cycling. But for those who don't know about it yet, Ro, what is skin cycling?
It's a weekly routine or a 4-day skincare plan coined by dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe, where you exfoliate on day 1, use a retinol or retinoid on day 2, and then rest and recover on day 3 and 4. And then you rinse and repeat. Literally. If you want more information, there's so many derms and creators who've wrote and explained it in detail online, but we've essentially covered the essence of it. Now, Fel and I are going to build our own skin cycling routine. Let's go. All right, let's go pick out my skin cycle routine. Come into my bathroom with me.
So day 1 of skin cycling is chemical exfoliants, one of my favorite steps.
I don't use chemical exfoliants as often as I used to, but there is 2 here that I'm gonna take. That's like kind of from the same family.
This is hard because do I pick it in a toner or the serum step that I also like? Got one here.
And the second step, retinols. I have a couple here. You guys know how I'm traumatized by retinols. I think I'll take this one.
I still have to organize it, so please don't judge it. Oh, where's my retinol? You know, I had one in mind. Third step is soothing calming. This one is actually really easy because it's like the majority of my skincare routine, but it's actually simultaneously hard because it's called the paradox of choice. When you have too many soothing, calming ingredients and products, which one do you choose?
I see one here that I really love. Anything with cica, anything with calming, soothing ingredients. This is where KVD shines, I feel.
Okay, for a person who gets face rashes pretty often, because it's kind of sensitive, I love my soothing calming ingredients. So they're basically like in my everyday skincare routine. I mean, yeah, this is pretty easy. I'll just do these.
There's another here.
It's like, I don't get it. Soothing, calming, like the whole routine or just one product?
Very last step, as with any skincare routine at nighttime, is moisturizer. I've been loving this one.
This one is pretty good.
All right, let's get ready to meet Fel outside.
These. How do you pick? Let's just take these all. So as we get into going through the products that we picked, we just want to say at the beginning, like skincare and in life, everything works differently for us all. So we're going to go into what might work for you guys and how skincare cycling might be a wonder plug-in, or maybe you're not really in the phase where this really works for you and your skin. So we're going to be talking about all of that. Starting with
the very first day is chemical exfoliants. And I think this is actually very interesting because the start of any routine and like the start of your cycle should be some sort of chemical exfoliating product that can help you slough off all, you know, those dead skin cells, and to also clear out your pores enough so that the other products that you use later on, like your retinols, will be able to fully work their magic.
So that was a quick little reminder on what chemical exfoliants do. So the ones we picked, what's your one?
I have 2. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah.
I have the Polish Choice 2% and the BHA 9%. Both BHA.
Oh
for
my
my
God,
pores.
I have the Peach Slices Acne Exfoliating Toner. So this is also BHA, alcohol free, and it has a little bit of lactic acid. So actually picking this step was like really interesting, as you said to me, because you know, like through the years, we've actually used it very differently. We used to use it almost every day.
Yeah.
And now I use it just when I need it for that kind of pick me up when my skin is feeling dull. And I think this is a really interesting thing that the skin cycling routine has tried to systematize, where it's like you're almost doing doing it just once or twice a week. And I would say it really depends on your skin type and your skin concern. So for me, I use this leading up to my most like heavy breakouts, and that's usually the week before my period. And for it to be effective, I actually need to use BHA every day. For me, the BHA just once or twice a week would only work when my skin is feeling good, just needs a little bit of a help for like brightening, ungunking pores. But even like for you, do you use it consecutively every night to get rid of the blackheads, whiteheads? Or is it just like once?
So the interesting thing for me with skin cycling is that on any given day, my default is vitamin C. So that's what I will use morning and night. I know this routine is for night, but I love using vitamin C at night because like my freckles, you may not be able to see as clearly because I'm wearing foundation, but it's popping. And so for me to have like a system to remind me that today is for your chemical exfoliations, today is for your retinol, it allows me to introduce more products into my routine to test. Because on a normal basis, I don't think of one day this, one day this. So like today my sunspots are still there. So I'm just gonna go for what I know. And on days where I feel like my skin is super clogged, maybe like honestly once every 2 weeks is when I'll reach for one of these chemical exfoliation babies for me. And
by the way,
skin
Ro
type.
has dry Converse.
Oh yeah, I have like dry, dehydrated, so dry that it's like overproducing and overcorrecting in oils. So I think for my skin type, which is very different from, I guess, like more hormonal acne prone skin, like I don't really think of BHA until I see like my pores are stuffed and I need to do something about it.
That's interesting. Okay, so you use chemical exfoliants in your routine either once every like 2 weeks just for when you see it like come to the surface, but other than that, you're more like vitamin C.
Yes.
Very interesting. So then for me, yeah, it's like more of a week 3. No, what is it? What's the third? It's like
third
it's
trimester.
The premenstrual cycle.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's like the third
that.
Week leading up to your period.
When you get all your PMS symptoms. So that's when I'll go every day. I need it to help with inflammation and like redness and things like that. And I'll actually pair it with soothing, calming ingredients as well. So that we will talk about later.
And before we move on to the next step, these 2 products that I use interchangeably, there's 2 because one is intense. And if I'm gonna use it 1.5, 2 times a week, I don't think I'm gonna put the 9% twice in my routine. So the 9% is more of like it's like a bit oilier. It's more of like an oily consistency. And then the toner, the Polish Choice 2%, it's a little bit more viscous than you would think of like water, but then they also have very calming and soothing ingredients in here like green tea that just my skin loves. So it's hydrating while it's helping you like exfoliate your face, but like a lot more gently. And for something like this, the 9%, on most days I will clean my face, I'll use a very gentle toner, I'll put this on as a serum step and I'll put moisturizer over it. But on days that I find that my skin is a bit more sensitized, yet I still want to use this, I'll put this over the moisturizer just so there's already like a protective barrier before going in with something like that's 9%.
That 9% is actually my holy grail because it's still so gentle.
Yeah.
So a tip is like if you have hormonal acne, I actually use that one every
Spot
day
treatment.
Until that cystic has gone. And remember, it was like for you used it one day, it was already significantly decreased. Second day was like basically gone. So yeah, this concept of like chemical exfoliants like statically used once or twice a week is kind of a little inflexible for my liking. I've loved the Polish Choice for a while and I was actually on the hunt to see if there's anything that was kind of similar. So the one I've been loving, it's a little bit different but in the same realm, is the acne exfoliating toner from Peach Slices. It's salicylic acid, but it's also got a bit of AHA as well. So they both recap, like BHA is oil soluble, which is why, like Rose said, you can use it over your really stubborn pore, like clogs, because it goes into the pore and dissolves in the sebum. But the AHA is like, you know, that surface of dead skin that could be stopping your other skincare products from going in. And it also has soothing, calming ingredients like a seeker. So it helps with like my hyperpigmentation, it helps with preventing new breakouts from coming out, and also just helping active ones. So it's really lightweight, it's like water. It doesn't leave the skin glowy or anything, it's just really there for like managing. So those are the products that we're using for chemical exfoliation. Oh, quick question. Do you prefer your chemical exfoliating products, your HA, BHA, whatever, in a toner or a serum form?
I haven't thought about that
Mine's
in a while.
toner.
Yeah, because I've only been using it in these two forms. I think historically I've really liked toners.
Moving on to day 2, which is retinols or retinoids. So this one I'm really excited to talk about. So retinol is great for many things, fine lines and wrinkles, but it's also so good for acne, which is why I use it. So having this incorporated into the routine for about once or twice a week, I think is awesome for people who are just starting out with retinol or just starting out with retinoids, who might be scared if they're using too much or they don't know what their skin can tolerate, because remember how we're always like start low and start slow.
Yes.
So that's probably you're in Camp Roro.
Yay! So that's me. Hi. So the serum that I've been loving is the La Roche-Posay Retinol B3 Serum. I love La Roche-Posay serums. If you guys have been watching since Beauty Within started, I love their Hyla B5, the hyaluronic acid serum. And this one has pure retinol. I'm pretty sure it's in like a smaller dose. There's niacinamide, and there's of course also hyaluronic acid in here to really make this like formulation super beautiful. It's like slightly luxurious in that I think all La Roche-Posay serums have that very like beautiful finish. I'm a big fan of this because I never use retinol. I don't wake up or I don't go to sleep being like, I'm gonna use retinol today, because I don't know, trauma from the past, and also I don't know, I just like vitamin C.
She used tretinoin.
Yeah, my skin started peeling. So I think for me, when I think of my skin needs to be brightened, it just automatically goes to vitamin C, even though I know that retinol has like so many benefits too. So I think for, as Fel mentioned, for people just getting into retinols or like any derivatives of retinols, skin cycling is a great way to start low and slow. But I know Fel has thoughts, because girl relies on, or hormonal acne girls rely on actives like this, like vitamin A, to get through a particular season in their hormonal journey.
For like oily hormonal girls, vitamin A really helps to control the sebum that's like being produced in your pores, which can then help prevent breakouts because there's just less, you know, potential activity on the skin mixing with bacteria. So on top of that, and being able to help with acne, all the studies obviously talk about helping with fine lines, wrinkles, you know, that collagen and elastin stimulation in the dermis layer of the skin. But here's the thing, if you want that to actually work, one, you have to use the retinol or retinoid or whatever vitamin A for a very long extended period of time consecutively. And consecutively means almost every day. Like the goal of retinol when you start using it in studies, and what they found is like really effective to give you all that good stuff, is actually when you use it every day or when you use it every night. So that's the kind of like caveat that I think for the skin cycling. It's good for like a beginner intro, really good for like setting the foundation, getting really like up in there with your skin and knowing what it reacts to, what it doesn't. But in terms of like giving you the best payoff for a retinol product, especially because they're really expensive. Like if it's not the La Roche-Posay,
I mean, this is still
most of them
$40.
right? Yeah. Obviously, the Ordinary has a gram active retinoid, which is also fabulous. Rose tried that, and it's like, it's so easy to use. It's like luscious and nourishing on the skin. But for example, a more higher end one is this. This is the Salwa Su Concentrated Ginseng Renewing Serum. So this is their serum that has all the same active ingredients from the ginseng, and you know, the ginsenomics and the saponins, which is what red ginseng is known for, being able to give anti-aging effects. But it's also got retinol. And I think like you'll see retinol and retinoid products are just making it so much easier in terms of usability for beginners so that there isn't any irritation. You know, like Youth to the People has a retinaldehyde serum that's filled with 3 types of mushrooms. It's got hyaluronic acid, it's got glycerin. So it's like doing the most for your skin, minimizing most of the irritation. So microencapsulation also helps with sensitive skin, delivery in a way that will keep your skin nourished and hydrated without drying and flaking. So I would say if you're interested in retinols and retinoids, you can start with the skin cycling process where you introduce it once a week. And then after 2 weeks of once a week, you twice a week. But the goal really is, in my mind, to use it at a certain point in time in your life every day. Like coming up to my 30s, I will be more diligent with retinols because, you know, you're just wanting that plumping effect. Even for your dry skin, I think it's not really the reason I use it. It would be more for like helping the offset the fine lines and wrinkles you get from dryness.
Yeah, smile lines.
Because like it's real. If you're looking for affordable retinol options, the different adapalene gel 0.1, so effective, but make sure you use soothing calming moisturizer that's like keeping it all nourished. Otherwise you will get like some sort of dryness happen, and I've seen that, so just make sure. And then Good Molecules also has a retinol cream. Chef's kiss. It is beautiful. It's like a gel. You don't even know it's there, and there's no drying or anything like that. Plenty of options to choose from.
Moving on to day 3 and 4, they're lumped together because it's just 2 days of soothing, resting, and skin barrier building.
This is our wheelhouse of products.
This is our wheelhouse. So the 2 products I have, honestly, these are both of your favorites. One of them is the Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Hyaluronic Wonderful Ampule, and then the other one is the by Wishtrend Sarah Barrier Soothing Ampoule. What you got?
There's the whole world of soothing and calming, which we love so much. So the one I've been loving for a long time, the Dr. Circle Vegan Kombucha Tea Essence, I would classify that as like skin barrier friendly, soothing, calming. The same one as you by Wishtrend. And then the Pure Air Moisturizer. Whenever we say nourishing, I think of moisturizers. You know, Rose like OG, the Authentic Barrier Cream Balm. And then recently I've been loving again the reformulated Ciorus Deep in Barrier, and that's got the Tamanu oil, which is really good for soothing, calming. Also for hyperpigmentation. So you go first. Share with me your thoughts on 2 days of soothing calming.
If I'm being honest, when I'm reaching for these products is when my skin is visibly pissed off, or I went too hard with the BHA 9 that my like nose, the corner of my nose is peeling, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta dial it back. Let me just do like a week of soothing calming. But it doesn't happen often because I think maybe now that we are entering a different season, like, you know, the 7-year season in our life, where our skin's getting a little bit more mature and then the fine lines are settling a little more. I think my goal is to target those concerns. And because the vitamin C serums that I use, like the Medicube that I absolutely love, or even now, like as I'm trying skin cycling using this like retinol serum from La Roche-Posay, they're all still very gentle. It's like they're not like breaking apart my skin barrier. I'm not burning, like it's not making my skin sensitized. I still don't really need to reach for these, but I do feel like when we first started Beauty Within, when we were both using chemical exfoliants every single day, then I think this is actually great. So I think it can help give you peace of mind that like, oh, if I swap out a day or 2 of more active ingredients with more calming ingredients, my skin will still be beautiful.
This one is a really interesting step for me. At first I'm like, okay, I am so down for this, right? Like we need to all be able to know when to pare back and when to just like woosah, you know, because the whole premise was to let our skin breathe, let our skin do its thing. But I'm actually thinking I'm like confused by it because in my mind, your every routine already has a bunch of soothing, calming ingredients, which then makes me think it's like, why am I allocating just 2 days to rest? Here's the thing. So I think it really depends on each person's routine. Yes, because this approach to me is kind of like, you know, you go on a 2-day bender, you're like, you do whatever it is over the weekend, and then you're like deceased for the week. And so you need to soothe and calm. But actually, if you had a fun weekend and it wasn't crazy. You incorporated your active ingredients, but they're not overly drying. Like there's no need to carve out time to rest and recover because it's like already integrated into your routine. So for example, in a routine where I'm using, let's say, the BHA every day of the week, I will already be using these soothing and calming ingredients in there anyway. Then my skin wouldn't even be in a place where it needs to rest and recover. It would be resting and recovering every day of the week. Some people ask us, can I use a glycolic acid with a retinol? And it's like, well, I don't know if that works for you, but I would say no, right? Like use them on separate days. If that's the problem of you're not sure when to rest, then rest. But if you're already like kind of in control of your routine, you know what ingredients work for you, you're like Ro, you wake up and you're like, actually today I need vitamin C. And so you use vitamin C every day, like then you're good. But overall, I think soothing, calming ingredients, great for any time, honestly. Day, night, every day, every other day, whatever it is.
Do you want to talk about your moisturizer real quick? Because I feel like moisturizer for this routine is really important because it should also be like a soothing, calming, basic, but elevated moisturizer.
These are the two that I brought. It's got all the like Centella Asiatica, it's got shea butter, it's like beautiful and kind of smooth. It just kind of glides on without feeling sticky. Maybe not in the summer.
Not in the
but
summer.
more like
no.
fall, transitional and winter. And then this one, loved it. It's the Ciora Steep in Barrier Cream. So it's got macadamia oil, tamanu oil, and it does smell of that earthy tamanu oil. So if you can't stand earthy smells, this might not be for you. But to me, it's like kind of Chinese apothecary smell. It's like medicinally. It's just so nice. I've loved the previous formulation. This is reformulated because I don't know, I think they toned down the smell of it. It's definitely still there, but just like woodsy. And this really helps with anything I use, whether it's chemical exfoliating, whether it's a day of retinol, whether it's a day of whatever it is, I can use this to pair with anything. And then when I don't have active ingredients and I just use this moisturizer at the end, it helps with hyperpigmentation. So that's when I use it after all my breakouts have like calmed down. I'm left with maybe a little bit of scarring and it just brings me back to life. It heals the skin barrier back to life. And then ding, ding. And then for you, your
Ole Henriksen, my ride or die. We've talked about this in a recent video where I think this is going head to head with the Peach and Lilies moisturizer that I've been touting as my favorite of 2022. I think this might be a little bit ahead because it just blends so beautifully no matter what I put before it, whether it's a toner, whether it's a serum, like it never turns white or filmy. So this is their Strength Trainer Peptide Boost moisturizer. It has vegan peptides, ceramides, as well as collagen. And I feel like a moisturizer like this, even though it has all of these ingredients, these are all very non-active active ingredients, if you know what I mean. Like it's not like a vitamin A, there's no like vitamin C or niacinamide or anything too crazy in here. So this would pair really well with literally anything. I could use BHA and use this. I can use retinol and use this. I can use soothing and calming ingredients and use this and it'll be totally fine. Your skin feels refreshed, but like soothed and coated and protected. Especially if you have dry skin, you know that feeling is important because you can like move around and your skin just feels amazing rather than like, like some moisturizers, I'll apply it and then I'll be like, oh God, it feels dry already. Do I need to apply another layer? Yeah.
Oh my God. Cannot relate.
Fel, you have had many thoughts. What is your final verdict of this? And I want to hear them all.
Okay, so am I gonna skin cycle? No. I think my 21-year-old self, yes. Like when I was a little bit unsure of what ingredients worked for my skin type, when I was unsure of what brands, when I was unsure of when to incorporate them into my routine, I think this just puts a name on a routine. It's like we all have a routine, right? But Dr. Bowie, what she did in coining skin cycling is just putting a name to any like routine that works. So this one I think is really good for laying a foundation. It's especially good if you have sensitive skin, especially good if you're testing out new ingredients and you don't know how they'll work. both of which I think a lot of us will fall into. But right now I'm at a stage where I'm looking more into how to utilize my active ingredients to their full potential when I do choose to use it. And if not, then I'm just soothing and calming like all day, every day. And that has taken time to get here. And actually it changes every few months. It changes every year. Like what I focus on now wasn't what I focused on 6 months ago versus the previous year or anything. So it's always ebbing and flowing, and I feel like that's what skincare is. It's really just about like knowing what works for you at the end of the day. Are you skin cycling?
I would say yes and no. I think yes in that from what I've done so far, I love the results. My skin looks great. I don't think it looks like exponentially better, but it's not exponentially worse. And as humans, we just like systems and routines, and we like being told what to do. Not in a bad way. I think it's just like sometimes your day-to-day life is so complex that you just want to have this thing that you can fall back on. And so I think because of that, this is great in that, you know, I know like because I used BHA last night, today I'm gonna use retinol, and tomorrow I'm gonna use something soothing and calming. The only thing I will say though is because I'm very heavy-handed with the vitamin C, to have it not in my nighttime routine, it like pains me a little. So what I have been doing is I'll do chemical exfoliation, retinol, rest, vitamin C, and that has been working wonderfully. But I know this is a nighttime routine, so they're just probably assuming that you can use vitamin C during the daytime, but I like using it day and night because I think my skin needs that help. Had I had something like this growing up in my early 20s, it would have been excellent, right?
Oh my God,
and I think this is so why it's so popular and it's gone so viral, because there's so many people just starting out, right? Or there's so many people who are in need of a little bit of guidance.
Which is great.
So I think the fact that it's able to play this role in so many people's lives and routines is amazing. But at the same time, if you know your skin well enough, if your skin's chillin', just like stick with your routine. Or if you already have a set routine that you know it works well and beautifully for your every month or every week of your hormonal cycle, like Fel, just stick with what you know. Like, I don't think you need to go out there and like get extra products just to try out this thing. But if you already have these products laying around, if there's products that you've been wanting to try at home, go ahead and try it.
Yeah. Like, for example, a teenager who doesn't have acne, fine lines, and wrinkles, who's 14-year-old, does not need a retinol.
You do not need it.
So yeah, it could be confusing for the wrong audience. Oh, and like final point, I think because I visualize it in terms of like blocks, right? So this skin cycling, it's a daily schedule in a week. I actually think of my routine as a weekly schedule in the month, because my routine actually goes according to my cycle. Anyway, but let us know if you're skin cycling, how's it been working for you? And do you think you're gonna keep using it? Share it with everyone below. I think everyone's like super curious to see what other people are doing and if it works. And yeah, that's about it.
See you guys in the next episode. Ding.
Bye.